Max chapter 2. If you remember, at the end of chapter 1, they found out that his brother was dead. Right after he just got done saying bad things about him. So I think that our main character feels really sad right now. So here's chapter 2. Nice one, Jaybird. Kyle was teaching Justin how to hit baseballs into a net in their backyard. Kyle patted his kid brother on the head. Gotta work on your follow-through, Kyle said as he took the bat from Justin's 8-year-old hands. Now are you ready for some lemonade? Justin nodded and smiled to himself as he followed his big brother into the house. Justin ripped open the plastic packaging of his new clothing. He pulled out a formal white shirt and held it up, shaking out the sleeves. The fabric was stiff, and the collar was even stiffer. He tugged at the strip of cardboard tucked inside the collar and tossed it down on his floor. He unbuttoned the shirt and slipped it on over his white t-shirt, then started the work of buttoning it back up. He tucked it into the black suit pants and buckled the thick leather belt. The cloth hung heavily against his legs, and the belt weighed 1,000 pounds. He didn't even have the jacket on yet, and he was already hot. He wondered how some men could wear these stuffy clothes every single day. Justin had never had a reason to wear a suit before, and he never thought that his brother's funeral would be the first time. He could hear his mom crying softly on the other side of the wall, and his father's low voice comforting her. The morning sun peeked through the windows. It was another bright blue sky day, but Justin felt dark inside. He hadn't known it was possible to feel this lousy. Sad wasn't quite the right word. It was more like hopeless? Alone? With a sigh, he sat down on the edge of his unmade bed. He jammed his feet into the cruel-looking black dress shoes. The clock on his dresser told him he had 20 minutes to kill before his family left for the church. He didn't want to walk around in these miserable clothes for a moment longer than necessary, so he lay back on his mound of pillows and looked up at his posters of indie bands and obscure old movies. Kyle had helped him hang some of them up before he'd left for the Marines. Kyle's room, of course, was decorated with sports posters and trophies. He used to tease Justin about his emo indie taste. Justin closed his eyes so he couldn't see the pictures hanging all over the walls. Everything reminded him of Kyle now. Kyle! Kyle! Kyle came running through the living room in a t-shirt and boxer shorts, his face screwed up with worry. Justin, what is it? Are you okay? I need help! Kyle ran a hand through his hair. Justin, what's up? I'm studying for a trig test, man. What does a 4th grader need? Help! I need help! Justin pointed at the TV. A black plastic controller wedged into his grubby hand. I'm stuck on level 4 and I really need the gold sword or I can't get to level 5. Help me, please! For a second he thought Kyle was going to be mad at him, but his brother just burst out into one of his huge grins, the kind that made their mother giggle and forgive him for anything. Jaybird, you want me to fail my test? No, Justin laughed, but I really want you to help me get this sword. Kyle sighed and dropped down onto the floor next to Justin. They leaned back against the couch together, and Kyle took the remote. Watch the master at work, kiddo, and don't forget how good you have it in elementary school. Justin watched in awe as Kyle easily made his way through the caves and flames and monster hordes on screen. Dude, you rock at this game. Now I want you to fail your test so you can always help me, Justin said. The doorbell rang downstairs. Justin didn't move. It rang again, echoing through the quiet house. He waited for the sound of his parents' footsteps, but the house was silent except for his mom's hushed weeping. The bell rang a 3rd time, and Justin finally gathered the energy to push himself off his bed. He felt groggy, like he was half asleep. He trudged through the house to the front door and swung it open. A blast of summer heat came at him. A limo driver in a dark suit stood sweating on the porch, his long dark hair parked across the driveway behind him. He barely looked old enough to have a driver's license. I'm here to pick up the driver checked a folded piece of paper in his hand. The Wincots. To go to the, He trailed off. Yeah, that's us, Justin said. We'll be right out. Justin shut the door and went back upstairs to his parents' room. He listened for a moment, then knocked lightly. Yes, came his father's gravely voice. The driver's here. Okay, Justin, thanks. We'll be right out, his dad said. Are you ready, honey? His mom asked softly. Yeah, Mom, I'm ready. I just need to get my jacket. Don't tell Mom and Dad, Justin begged. What's it worth to you, kiddo? Kyle started his car as Justin buckled his seatbelt. They pulled away from the middle school and headed toward home. No, seriously, Kyle, don't tell them. I won't, Justin. Kyle turned to look at him. Just be glad I'm the one who answered the phone and was able to come get you. His expression turned serious. What happened in there? Justin looked down at his knees, then out the window. He didn't know how to tell Kyle that he'd gotten in a fight over a stupid bike, or that he'd been super sucker punched, or that he'd managed not to hit back because he didn't think it was worth it. Despite all that, Justin had still gotten in trouble. Kyle had never gotten into trouble in his life, and no one had ever been mad at him. Kyle probably never felt so angry at other people that he couldn't look at them sometimes like Justin did. Kyle had never felt like the weird kid in a room full of jocks. He'd never been picked on. Kyle wouldn't understand. I don't know. It's just, I didn't like the way he was talking about my friend's bike, so I called him on it. Justin squirmed in his seat. Kyle kept his hands on the steering wheel and his gaze straight ahead. But I didn't punch him, I swear. They stopped at a red light, and Kyle turned to look at his little brother again. I'm proud of you, Jaybird. Justin thought he'd misheard him. You're what? I'm proud of you, man. Good for you for standing up for a friend and for not hitting back. Thanks, Justin mumbled. He fought the urge to smile at his brother's words. He felt a rush of happiness, like he'd just won a championship game or something. Justin shifted in his seat and felt something bumping against his ankle. He leaned down and picked up a folder stuffed with forms and papers. On the front was a drawing of a bird with a flag in its mouth resting atop the earth. It was the U.S. Marine Corps logo. What's this? Justin asked, happy to change the subject. Kyle cracked a huge grin and said, That, my friend, is my future. It took Justin a second to absorb what he was hearing. Wait, are you saying? Did you? Yeah, kiddo, I'm in. I enlisted. You enlisted? You're going to be a Marine? Just like that? Justin wasn't surprised that Kyle wanted to do it. He'd known all his life that his brother planned to follow in their dad's footsteps. He just hadn't realized it was happening so soon. Justin's heart sank, and whatever happy feeling he just had was replaced by a sharp pang in his chest. Oh, Kyle was leaving? Kyle reached over and tousled Justin's hair. Just like that, man, just like that. Don't worry, you'll get used to missing me. Justin punched him on the shoulder. I won't miss you at all, dude. He tried to look at his big brother, but his throat felt tight and he had to look away. Justin held open the front door for his parents. His father held his mom tightly around her waist, almost as though he was keeping her upright, as they walked toward the waiting limousine. The driver stood by the open door, his hands clasped in front of him, and his eyes cast downward. He looked miserable, as if he thought he was going to catch something from Justin and his family. Justin's mom's wavy black hair was pushed back from her face. Her eyes were red and swollen, and she clutched a packet of tissues. His dad's face was a frozen mask. He looked so out of place in his new suit, especially with his sunburned neck peeking out above the collar. His jaw was set, his mouth pinched close, his eyes glassy and unreadable. Like a soldier, he'd gotten up early to buzz his hair into a precise Marine cut. The three of them slid into the back of the air-conditioned car. The driver shut the door, and the silence closed in around them. Justin's mom looked at him as if he were just realizing he was there. You look very handsome, honey, she said, in your suit. Thanks, Mom. No one spoke for the rest of the 10-minute drive to the church. The fabric of the white shirt rubbed against Justin's neck. He swatted at it, but it just kept scratching him. His feet felt cramped in the stiff shoes. It was going to be a rough day, that much was clear. It made him wonder how Kyle had ever gotten used to wearing his uniform all the time. But Kyle wasn't a complainer. Plus, Justin knew that his brother loved his suit of armor, as he called his full combat gear. Even his military dog Max wore an armored vest. That uniform had made everyone so proud of Kyle, now that he was going to be buried in it. Hello, handsome, his mom said to the laptop screen. She leaned it to the computer as if it would actually bring her closer to her son. Hi, Mom. Kyle sat in a tent wearing his fatigues. He looked tired. Are you getting enough rest, hun? She asked. Mom, I'm in the Marines. That's not exactly our first priority, Kyle laughed. Well, I'm in the Marines, and it's always my first priority, she shot back with a smile. Tell your captain I said so. I'll get right on that. Justin stomped through the kitchen past his mom, sitting at the round kitchen table with her laptop. He opened the fridge and rummaged around. Justin, say hi to your brother, his mom called out. Hi to your brother, Justin mumbled into the deli drawer. So he can hear you, she said. She swung the computer around toward Justin. Kyle's face filled the video chat screen. Justin waved a big pretend smile plastered on his face. Then he stuck his face back in the fridge looking for a snack. She rolled her eyes at Kyle, who shook his head and grinned. It's okay, Mom. He's just being 14. A loud barking made them all jump. You want to say hi too, Max? Kyle asked. Come here, boy. Suddenly, a furry black snout and a loud snuffling sound filled the screen. Kyle and their mom burst out laughing. Justin turned around to see what was happening and couldn't help but crack a smile. Even Justin couldn't deny that the dog was pretty cute. Even though Justin had only met Max through video chat, he could tell that Max could be a goofball when he wasn't off saving lives. Maybe Kyle and his dog were more alike than Justin had first thought. Justin's dad limped into the kitchen carrying a large toolbox. He waved at the wet nose and whiskers on screen. "Hey, son, looks like you're letting your beard grow in, huh?" "Very funny, Dad," Kyle said from somewhere behind the dog. "Max, tell Dad he's hilarious, will you?" Max barked. "Max, I heard you dug up a pretty good cache of weapons there, huh?" their dad said, leaning into the camera. "And you let Kyle lend a hand?" Kyle scratched Max behind the ears. They pressed their heads together so they could both see the screen. "He did all the work," Kyle said. "Ain't that right, boy?" "Can he really see us right now?" their mom asked. "We're just a sea of pixels to a dog's eyes, Pamela," their dad said. "Don't mess with your mother like that, Kyle." "Yes, sir." Kyle saluted his dad. "Max, teach that Marine how to give a proper salute, would you, boy?" their dad teased. Kyle lifted up one of Max's front paws and held it up to the dog's brow. "Well," their mom interrupted the banter, "I think you and Max deserve some kind of medal. You're both very brave." "Aw, Ma, we're just doing our jobs." "Yeah," Justin said, closing the fridge a little too firmly. "Kyle's so awesome, even his dog is a hero." The room went still. "Justin," his dad snapped, "show some respect." "And while you're at it," his mom added, "don't you talk that way in this house." Justin slapped a slice of bread down on a plate. "I didn't cuss." "Close enough," his mom said. "Do I hear Justin swearing?" A new voice cut through the tension. Kyle looked up and slid to the side as a different face appeared on the screen. Justin recognized the familiar smirk and dirty blonde hair. It was Tyler Harn, his brother's best friend since forever. They had enlisted together, trained together, and now were stationed together. Another example of Kyle's blessed life. How many guys got shipped out across the globe and still got to be with their oldest buddy? "Tyler," his mom called. "Nice to see you." "Hi, Mrs. W. Nice to see you, too. I got your boy covered here. Don't worry about a thing." "Thank you." "Is that your pot roast I smell?" "That right there is the pride of Lufkin," Tyler said. "Oh, I'm sure you're getting delicious pot roast in Afghanistan, Tyler," Justin's dad called out. "If you call dehydrated meat delicious, sir, then yes, we are," Tyler replied. "Are you boys staying out of trouble?" Justin's mom asked. "We're making trouble, Mrs. W," Tyler said. "For the bad guys, that is." "Hoorah!" Justin sneered. He had never been much of a Tyler fan. Tyler had pretty much spent Justin's entire childhood being extra nice to him in front of Justin's parents and nasty to him when adults weren't around. "Can it, Justin?" his dad said in an icy tone. Kyle and Tyler looked up as a deep voice said something unintelligible off screen. They both stood up quickly. "We gotta go, guys," Kyle said. "Love you, Mom." "Love you, hun." She kissed her fingertips, then placed them gently against the screen. "Justin, say goodbye to your brother." Justin ignored her. "Justin!" she snapped. Justin barely had time to look up and see his brother's face before the computer went black. So that was chapter 2. They went back and forth between the ride to the church and him remembering his brother. Chapter 3 next time.